This is not a review, but my comprehensive thoughts on the first few hours and worlds of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I will try to relate what to expect from the game so that you can determine if it is the one for you, and make a more confident purchase if you are on the fence. Thank you for watching. Heroes Log, Friday, March 25th, 2022. Hello, my dears. I am the aforementioned hero here, and if you're watching this, I have been sucked into a certain forgotten land. Fans of the channel know that I have been highly anticipating Kirby and the Forgotten Land, the 3D platformer adventure starring this pink puffball. It just looks so cute. Kirby is always a fun, wholesome time. Today I will be logging my time with Kirby with this game, and I'm gonna do a couple of entries here. I'm gonna do a before and after playing the game, and well, I've kind of played the game a little bit so far. Nintendo put out a demo on the date I am flashing on the screen here. I played it as of last Monday, and that was when I actually got sucked into the same wormhole as Kirby, and I've been living in the Forgotten Land ever since. I have only been thinking about this game since playing the demo. It's really, really charming. So I want to talk about my thoughts on just the little bit I got to experience before the full game came out, and then I will be logging my thoughts after playing even further into the main campaign. I got the physical game here, so I'll be busting into this bad boy soon. Before we get into that, let me tell you my initial thoughts on the hour or so of content that was available before the full game came out today. The game opens with your standard Kirby cutscene. Kirby's acting all cute. Then Planet Popstar, there's usually a twist at the beginning of every Kirby game. It's under attack. Somebody comes and attacks Kirby's home, and Kirby has to defend it. But this time the twist is a mystical source takes Kirby from his home. Now Kirby is the fish out of water, hence the game being Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Pretty simple premise. I think through the marketing that was pretty clear that's what this game was going to be, and so far we're pretty par for the course with how the intro scene of this game starts and how other Kirby games start, but it's got its own twist. It's got that promise of new game, new grandeur. Then there's that magical Breath of the Wild Super Mario Odyssey moment, that moment where the world opens up to you. You're on this beach and you run up this path, and suddenly the world opens up to you. So how I imagine this game is going to be, from how that first scene opens up and how they showed off Kirby in the trailers, I thought this was going to be more of a Super Mario Odyssey type game, where the world was open to you and you got to pick and choose different challenges that were around the map. And that's kind of what this walking out into the vast openness kind of promises. You quickly realize this game isn't so much a Super Mario Odyssey type platformer, but more of a Super Mario 3D World type platformer. That openness is kind of an illusion. It immediately becomes clear that these levels are super linear, which I felt a little misled. I didn't mind that it was more of a straightforward linear 3D platformer like Super Mario World, but I definitely was for a long time thinking this was going to be a more open world Super Mario Odyssey type thing. But that is the first thing you should probably know before buying this game, is that is the type of platformer it is. It's not super open. It's more level based with some fun action set pieces, similar to the fare we've gotten in many recent Kirby games. Just now there's an extra level of movement with the 3D map. It's no longer confined to just that 2D side-scrolling space. Game is a lot of fun so far. There are a couple different powers that I got to try in the first couple levels, and a couple different Mouthful modes, and those are really fun and put a smile on my face. Honestly, I'm just excited to keep discovering Mouthful modes and powers in this game, because that's always kind of been the fun of Kirby, or a large part of the fun of Kirby is the powers are a little outlandish. I really enjoyed Kirby Car the most, of course. Kirby Vending Machine, also pretty cool. Someone is showering while I'm doing my Heroes log, but that's cool. That means there's other people in the Forgotten Land, which is where I am. Maybe I should have done green screen for this bit. Final thought on Kirby and the Forgotten Land demo was the frame drops and the draw distance that happen, like, it's pretty bad. What I mean is anything far away in the distance, you can still see it. It's not a matter of popping in and out so much. I know there's a lot of games like recent Pokemon titles where if you're not right up next to a thing, the game won't render it, which you think we'd be past this kind of thing in gaming, but no. But in Kirby, the unique problem is you can see things far off in the distance, but the frame drops just drop so hard, so noticeably. I'm going to show a couple examples here on screen of the absolute crawl some of the animations halt to. Oh my gosh. Except weirdly enough, this little bird holding the cage with the Waddle Dee, they seem to be fine. There's no problem there. They experience no frame drops in the distance, so the birds are safe. So yeah, I know there's been a lot of buzz about that on the internet. Some people are trying to like defend the game, being like, it doesn't matter. I think it matters a little bit. It's pretty dang noticeable, and not every game can be Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, but two recent titles on the Switch, Legends Arceus and now Kirby, are having this really, really tough time with draw distance and like rendering anything far away. And some of the first heavy hitters on the Switch didn't really have this kind of problem, or this kind of problem to this extent. So it just makes you wonder, how rushed are these titles? How were Mario and Zelda able to do it, but Kirby and Pokemon not able to? But yeah, the first couple of levels with the demo seemed a little rough. The game is otherwise super pretty. It's just, if you pay attention to the background elements, you can see the cracks, the lack of polish. But to be fair, Kirby is a lot prettier. The lighting effects are a lot better. Overall, it's a lot prettier than Legends Arceus. Even within just the first couple of levels of the game, that is abundantly clear. Without further ado, I'm going to end this log. I'll meet you guys after playing a little more Kirby. Let's see how my thoughts now expand. Alright, so actually, before I begin the game, this is Heroes Log 2 of today, Kirby Day. The time is now 2:49. So, buyer beware. Buyer beware. GameStop has an absurdly cute Kirby display up. When I went to go buy Kirby in the Forgotten Land, I fully intended to just get the game. But, buyer beware. It's easy to get carried away. I have a bag of goodies. You may have noticed I'm already wearing some of my new Kirby goodies. I got this hat here. The hat's pretty sick. It's got Kirby on their star and a bunch of other stars. And then my favorite part of the hat is this. Kirby's face smushed against the screen. It's this is what sold me. I was like, oh my gosh, this hat is too absurdly cute. Could not pass it up. And then I got this shirt. It's a pretty cute shirt. Then there's more stuff. Oh my goodness. I really didn't need to get this one, but it was the first thing that caught my eye, honestly. It's really cute Kirby keychain. Bust into it, but inside this star, there's also a Kirby inside a little water, inside the like water stuff. And he's holding a Maxim tomato. It's really cute. You know, we're just not gonna talk about the prices on these today. Then I got this cozy looking blanket, which matches, looks like at least, it's going to match the shirt's design that I am wearing. So that's fun. Oh, matching action. Can get cozy while playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Though it might be a little late, TBH, I mean. Cozy season is wrapping up. It's warming up out there. Ooh. Wow. I like it better on the blanket for sure, but yes, it is the same design. Very nice fabric. Perfect cozy blankie. A great one for the collection. Alright, next up we got... Ooh, I got another thing, but it's actually a gift, a surprise, so I can't show it on camera, sorry. But there's one more thing I can show, and that is the Kirby and the Forgotten Land game. I know y'all know I love the inside covers for these games. And this one, I might not flip it just because of where the bridge would end up, but it's a pretty nice inside cover. Just Kirby car driving up this bridge, off into the sunset. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The Kirby car would end up on the front cover if you flip it, so that's a good, but I think at least, right? Oh, actually, Kirby car would end up on the back. So yeah, not amazing for flipping purposes, but a nice inside cover art. I like it. A big part of me considered licking it. To be like, Kirby eats anything. So I should also stick this in my mouth. But I'm not going to. I know it tastes like bug spray. It's so wild they intentionally designed them that way. It's like, yeah, kids and dogs will try to eat this. Make it taste awful. Oh no, yep, it's bad. Guys, real talk though, licking that Switch game made me a little sick to my tummy. Jeez. Like, not like viciously, but enough to be notable. Alright, this is Hero's Log. The time is now 7:54 p.m. Still release day of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I still find myself stuck here in the expanse of the Forgotten Land, but it's a great time. It's a great time. It's really fun. Today I played Kirby for about 3 hours, which I had a little break in the middle there for food and a shower, but that was enough to get me to the end of World 1 and about halfway through World 2. So I have a good sense of at least how the game plays, what to expect kinda from level to level, and I can see that I'm still in the early stages and that there's still some cards up this game's sleeves that I have yet to see. But we won't talk about what I haven't seen, we'll just talk about what I have seen. What I didn't know going into this game after playing the demo was that I had to replay the levels that were in the demo. In retrospect, it makes perfect sense because you skip to the boss level, which there's a bunch of World 1 levels that get cut out in order to put the boss level in the demo, but also within the demo you can toggle between the upgraded version and the base versions of the powers that Kirby has. And in this game, you actually need to find blueprint items that can then be brought to the Waddle Dee shops and used to upgrade your abilities, which is pretty cool. Gives you incentive to explore the little nooks and crannies to find those little extra goodies that you can then turn in to upgrade your copy abilities. But yeah, you start the game, you start it fresh. There's a little extended intro sequence too with the Kirby car where you drive along to some fun music. I thought that part was a cute little way to start off the game, and I'm glad that that wasn't spoiled in the demo. They strategically removed that part from the demo version of this level so they could keep it as a nice little thing to introduce Kirby in the Forgotten Land in the official release of the game. So that was really nice. I like that part. I also really enjoyed the other copy abilities I've come across in my playthrough. Surprisingly enough, the Mouthful mode, there aren't that many cool ones, a lot of gimmicky ones so far. Like there's that one where you will go onto the top of a pot lid and then you just have to wiggle around to open the pot lid, and then it's usually hiding a Waddle Dee or some money in there, so it's a very simple thing. And then there's Storage Mouth as well, which is pretty much the same thing. You just now, instead of yanking this thing out of the ground, you're yanking some thing out of a wall. And there's just kind of a couple of abilities like that which aren't super duper impressive. They kind of have this one and done use. So we'll just see as the game goes on, but so far I was expecting a little more out of Mouthful mode, though I really do like Ring Mouth, the little one where Kirby eats this ring thing and then he is able to blast air. That one's been showed off in the trailers a bunch too, and that one is really fun to play around with. That one was cool. Addendum. I've played some more of the game, and I'm about 6 hours into the main story now. I just finished World 3, and I'm happy to say that Mouthful mode fleshes out as the game progresses. Get it? Fleshes out like a mouth. Like a wet, fleshy mouth. Why does it have to be wet? Anywho, Stair's Mouth actually gets a lot of fun and interesting applications. It has a pretty fun treasure road that took me a couple of tries to get the best time on. I have also now discovered Glider Mouth and Coaster Mouth, and those have some pretty fun stretches of level featuring them. It's a slow burn, but Mouthful mode provides fun action set pieces for you to enjoy throughout Kirby's adventure. I'm sorry I was so harsh on you. There's a lot of collectibles within each level and little side objectives that some of them the game tells you up front, some you have to beat the level to figure out what all the objectives are in the level. So there's a lot of replay value there. There's a lot of incentive to explore every inch of the level. So for the completionists out there, this game will be a lot of fun. I certainly am having a great time exploring the levels. One mode that actually really took me by surprise, mostly because none of the marketing leading up to this game really covered it, which I'm happy about. I always like having things to discover in my games. So allow me to spoil that for you and now take all the wind out of those sails. But I really, really, really enjoyed the Treasure Road mode. Say that 3 times fast. Treasure Road mode, Treasure Road mode, Treasure Road mode. Treasure Road mode, Treasure Road mode, Treasure Road mode. Blech. It's tough. Treasure Road mode is your typical time trial mode, time attack mode, and a lot of Kirby games have some sort of time attack mode. It's the challenge mode of the game. What's fun about Forgotten Lands' take on this concept is each Treasure Road level will focus itself on a single Kirby power. So it might be a sword level, it might be a fire level. There's a couple of Mouthful modes as well. There's a vending machine Treasure Road. And they're just these really fun, well-constructed time attack modes. And one goal is to simply beat the level before the time runs out. And then there's a secondary great time that you want to score below. And then you've officially completed the level doing that. I've really been enjoying those levels. Some of them are really, really tough. And if you want a good platforming challenge, this is the part of the game that will house that for you. The rest of the main campaign is comparatively easier so far, but what you lose in the challenge, you make up for in wonderful set pieces and environments, some really fun enemies to engage with and fight using Kirby's different powers. It's just a really fun time. What's nice about having the hub world available to you, there's a hub world in the game. You can choose between having more challenging gameplay and playing some Treasure Road levels, and then you can kind of continue through the story and just have a wholesome, cute time playing the main levels. And the main levels do have some challenge too in the exploring and finding the hidden treasures aspect, because I certainly missed a bunch of stuff and will need to play a couple of these levels a couple more times to officially complete them. And this is the type of game that I definitely have the urge to complete. A lot of games I have the urge to complete, I don't end up completing, but this one seems manageable enough, and depending on how long the main campaign is, and because of how excited I have been for this game, I may very well complete it. I guess we shall see. Some final notes on Kirby. The Waddle Dee Village is pretty cute. The kind of cooking window, food window, fast order minigame thing isn't horribly challenging. It's mostly a time waster more than anything else. Wasn't super impressed with it, wasn't super offended by that mode. It just kind of exists, but it's there. You got a little cinema building in the Waddle Dee Village where you can watch all of the cutscenes of the game. I always like games that make their cutscenes easy to access and rewatch. Oh, you also unlock Kirby's house. You get to watch Kirby take naps. That's really cute. Yeah. The game's just really cute. I can't wait to play more. If you think you would like this type of game, totally recommend you get it. Addendum, this is another addendum. I also recommend this game if you want a fun, relaxed co-op game to play with a friend or sibling. We are now 8 hours into my playtime of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I have added 2 more hours solely playing the co-op mode with my good friend Zoe. In co-op mode, player 2 gets to play as a cute little Waddle Dee with a blue bandana. Going forward, we shall refer to them as Bandana Dee. Bandana Dee doesn't have Kirby's copy abilities. Instead, they carry a spear with a fleshed out moveset that keeps playing as Bandana Dee engaging. Most Kirby powers have 1 or 2 moves attached to them each. Meanwhile, Bandana Dee can do all kinds of stuff, from jabs to throwing their spears to creating a helicopter with the spear and then raining down spears from the helicopter that they're wielding. I didn't record my play session with Zoe, so there's no footage of this from me, but just take my word, it's as cool as it sounds. Waddle Dee can also ride on the back of certain Mouthful modes like the Kirby car and throw spears from the back, and that's a really fun way to keep player 2 engaged during those more scripted moments of the game. I believe with Pipe Mouth, also Bandana Dee will like hop on top and jog on top of the pipe that Kirby has in their mouth, and that's a lot of fun. So yeah, there's a lot of fun ways that make Bandana Dee still interesting, even though they can't do the same things that Kirby does. Note that player 2, however, has to go wherever player 1 goes. You're joined at the hip. Bandana Dee warps to Kirby whenever you get too far away from each other. This doesn't grant player 2 the type of agency to move around independently from player 1 that you get in games like Enter the Gungeon or a good split screen layout. Those are my gold standard for a good multiplayer co-op experience. But also, you're not put in this complete baby brother position like Cappy in Super Mario Odyssey, where you have very limited functions and it's just to like give your very, very young sibling something to do while you play. Those are a lot less fun, and I think even a young gamer should be given a little bit of agency. So I'm just glad that's not the case with this game. I think that would be much more egregious. Like I said, my friend Zoe played co-op with me, and we agree that this game's current system would be a little better if tweaked to have Kirby or Waddle Dee warp to whoever's currently leading in the level, instead of always having Waddle Dee exclusively warp to Kirby. This is what Mario 3D World does with its multiplayer mode, and by switching to this system, we believe the game would be able to keep up a better pace, and it would be a little more egalitarian for player 1 and 2. Still not sure if this game is the one for you? If this clip of Kirby saving a Waddle Dee doesn't absolutely melt your heart and make you want to squeal, there's nothing I can say that'll make you want to buy this game. Really, the only thing that may break the experience for you is those frame drops. There's some levels where you do just have to be looking ahead, and the frame drops are just super noticeable. There is a overhead panning shot, or anytime you enter the Waddle Dee Village, there's a Maxim tomato in the background, which you can use to fully heal. Cool. But no matter what, whenever you're loading into the village, this thing is just struggling to do its simple rotation animation, its idle rotation animation. It looks rough, and some sections of the game suffer worse than others, but it's not a complete immersion breaking experience, but it's something that, it is a point of critique for the game. It did take my focus away the times where I did notice it, That's the unfortunate thing about getting frame rates right, or even in the video world, editing video right. There's a lot of stuff where to do a good job, you want everything to be invisible, seamless. You don't want to notice the good job. When you do a bad job, it's unfortunately very, very noticeable. So when there's so many frame drops in the background elements, in the stuff way in the distance of this game, it breaks your suspension of disbelief. Of course, we don't live in a world with colorful pink puffballs that look like Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Of course, I'm not really in the Forgotten Land, but I am. Kirby is not what reality looks like. But when the things within Kirby move like things in reality, at least mimic reality, your brain can suspend disbelief. It can trick it. But then there's inconsistency in the frame rates, If the whole game was chugging, maybe it could be written off as an artistic decision. But there's inconsistency in the frame rates of things in the background and things in the foreground. And so you're constantly having to think about this being a video game. Not only a video game, but a video game that's struggling to run on a 5-year-old console that shouldn't be struggling the way it is, to the extent it is. So yeah, a lot of people are probably going to say I'm being a little harsh. I feel like I'm being very easy on that part of the game. But otherwise, it's still beautiful. It's still beautiful. I think I'm repeating myself from before, but dang, this game is beautiful. It's been a wonderful day one of Kirby. So long, my dears. Until next time, stay super.